let's get this done today. Cross your fingers, last big step. We're gonna populate the barrel, drill and install the pins, add the furniture. I guess I can make another video on putting the furniture in if this runs too long. And then get ready for a test fire. We also are going to have to drill the gas port hole on this barrel. We'll see about, I don't know if we're gonna run it in this video or do a separate. We'll find out as we go. We'll figure that out. I'll probably do it, probably fit it in this video. Anyways, let's bring you in and show you what we're working on. All right, so let's go ahead and start by fitting everything to the barrel. I'll show you the order that it all goes on. So this is how your barrel is gonna look. If you're following this guide up till now, it should look something like this. The first thing that's gonna need to go on is your rear sight block. So this holds, obviously, your rear sight and the lock for your upper handguard. It's gonna go on the barrel through the bottom hole. You push it through the bottom hole. And it will fit snugly all the way back. So you're gonna need to press all of this on using some sort of press mechanism. You're not gonna fit it on by hand. It's just not gonna happen. So this will get pressed on, and typically this back wall here will line up with the back wall here, but we're gonna base it off of your rear dust cover. We're going to base it on the size of the dust cover and how this dust cover fits. We can always adjust the dust cover, but if we can get it to fit the first time, why not? You're going to pin it. Once we get it installed, it will be pinned with this larger pin, and we're going to use a number 23 drill bit to drill this out. This is going to be a little bit undersized, so that pin is going to fit really, really tightly. Something to note is we're going to drill it undersized, like I said. If the pin won't go in, if it's too tight, I'm going to file it out by hand. I don't have the reamers on hand to do it perfectly, so needle file should work fine. All right, once that's on, once that's in place, your handguard retainer will go on. And luckily, this one already has the notch cut for the lock for the handguard retainer, so we don't have to do that. If yours doesn't have this, you're going to need to fit your handguard, push your handguard retainer on, mark where the handguard retainer stops, where the lock is going to be, kind of wiggle it to mark the lock, and then file that in or Dremel it in by hand. This one luckily came, the barrel actually came with the handguard retainer on. And I'll show you, when we go to assemble this, that's not always the best thing. Having stuff fitted by hand, to me, is better, and I'll show you why as we finish this. So that's going to lock in place. Next up is going to be your gas block. So your gas block will go on. Again, it's going to need to be pressed in, and we're going to decide where this gets pressed on based off of your carrier and the piston. So the piston will come through, and we'll kind of measure out where the piston should sit, press it on accordingly, and then there are two ways you can drill the hole for this. So on this barrel, you can see there's no gas hole. So to get the gas port drilled, you can do two things. You can either go down, so these gas blocks here are at a 45 degree, so you can actually take a drill bit at that 45 degree and run it in through the gas block and create your hole that way. That works, they do that in the factories. Other way you can do it is fit the block, drill your pins so you know where it's supposed to go, then kind of measure it out, take this off and drill a 90 degree where the hole will line up. Either way will work fine. The gas block and the front sight block use two smaller pins. Hopefully you guys can see there. These two smaller pins will fit in the gas block. And we're going to drill those out with a number 23 drill bit. So those are number 23. Remember, I'm sorry, 33. These are number 33 drills. So this is a 23 in the back, 33 up front. Once that's pinned in place and everything's good there, our front sight will go on. And again, this is going to have to be pressed all the way typically to that shoulder. Everything will have to be squared up, and then same pins go through here. Number 33 drill bit to drill it in. And then if it needs to be final fitted, we'll file it in from there. But that's pretty much your setup. It should look something like this when you're done, just pinned in place. So let me get started. I'm going to take all this back off. We're going to start with that rear sight block and get it in the 12-ton press, press it on, see what we got. All right. All right, here's what we got set up. So this is something I just knocked together in the milling machine really fast. I had some bar stock, I think it's like 1/4 inch steel bar stock that I picked up at the scrap yard. Not the scrap yard, we have a steel yard here in Gainesville that I grabbed this from. Cut it, just you could see rough cut it with a angle grinder, put 2 holes in it and clamped it using 2 lag bolts that I had sitting around. And it's good because this 90-degree helps support the back. You see that little shelf right there? It's really hard to get that supported nicely. So this works really well to support the front and the back evenly so we can distribute the pressure evenly. You guys probably can't see it, but right now, well, actually, you know what? If I get out of the light, right now we have 3 pennies sitting on the chamber. And what I'm gonna do, because I have it, instead of cutting myself a nice piece of steel or something, I'm going to use the old barrel that came out of this gun. I think this came from this gun. I don't know. Came from some gun. Put it in there and sit it against those pennies. So the pennies act as a sacrificial material to allow this to push down without messing up the chamber. So we're going to break this down. Come on, all the way. And get this somewhat in place. I'll measure off the back, the dust cover, once I get this on there. And we'll go from there. Okay, let's see if we can get this. Pennies will squish because they're soft. And then, there we go. Okay, so that barrel's trying to move on me a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to clamp this together so it can't move. Give me 1 second for a jump cut. All right, we're back. So my hand isn't strong enough to hold these pinched together, and it's off at a bit of an angle. So we're going to use the receiver to clamp to the barrel to help hold the pressure as we push down. Let's see if we can get this the rest of the way now. And what you're looking for as we get this on is the back here should line up right with that. And if we end up needing to make any changes, we can always move it further in or out to change it up. Pop that right off. Let me reset that. All right, let's go one more time. See if we can get this last little push in. Okay. Almost. And there you go. You can see those two certain surfaces are now perfectly flush. So we're going to take this out. We're going to see how the dust cover, the rear dust cover, fits into this groove and into this groove. If they fit well and it's timed correctly around the barrel, then we're going to drill it and pin it. So let's see how that looks. All right, let's see how that dust cover fits. So if you're new to the AK world, this little groove up here, the front of your dust cover should fit just like that, right into that groove. And you can see, as long as that groove, there we go, that we're actually a little bit past where we need it to be. So you can see back here, let me get out of the light in so you can actually see. We are like a hair over. This should fit back like that with this fitting forward. Come on, like that. We are the tiniest bit over. So I'm going to take this back in the press. We're going to move it a tiny bit forward, check again, and then go from there. I'll be right back. I'm going to press it off camera. All right, let's check fitting it one more time. You can see we press this forward just a little bit, so it's little less than flush, just beyond flush. So we're going to get our top cover and it's going to be snug. This top cover seems to be fairly snug. But yeah, you can see with the top cover pressed in place nicely. We have a nice flush finish right here across the back. And the top cover is tight from side to side. So it's going to need some adjusting, but that's part of building an AK in my mind, is we'll bring this out here, out a little way so it's a little bit easier to put down, but that's a perfect fit right there. So next we're going to drill this out and pin it. We're going to move over to the machine for that, to the milling machine. All right, let's get this drilled out. He's walking all the way back to the top of the barrels. We're going to around part of the barrels. It's kind of hard to get this to work perfectly. I'm doing it here. And we're through. All right, let's move back over, check it. We may have to do a little bit of filing on it, and then we're going to press the barrel pin in. All right, let's see if this pin will go in without too much force. That should be it. We'll have to get it in the rest of the way. I'll get it pressed in the rest of the way off camera, but that's pretty much it for that pin. We're going to move back over once I get this in and work on populating the rest of the barrel. All right, so as you can see, we got this mounted in. There you go. There's a little bit of flashing that came out. This is now pinned in place. It's not going anywhere. So remember, next up, you're going to want to put your handguard retainer on. If you don't have a notch for this, make sure you file this in first, because once your gas block goes on, you're not going to be able to file this in and get it back on. So handguard retainer goes on, and then we are going to press the gas block on. This is the proper way to do it. Gas tube will go on like this, and you're going to bring this back until they match up. And then we will drill our gas hole, make sure this is lined up nice and 90 degrees with the top, and then drill our two pins. And if I remember correctly, I'm using a number 33 pin, number 33 bit. Drill these two out, pin it in place. We're done with that. Let's move over to the press and get this pressed on. All right, you can see we got this in to the jig that I've made. I timed this correctly back and forth. I tapped it on a little bit and then timed it side to side so it lines up correctly. Let's see if this will be nice and press in, or if it's going to be a pain in my ass. Oh, it looks like it's moving all right. All right, I'm going to sit down so hopefully I don't get in your guys' way. But I want to make sure this lines up correctly. There you go. As you can see, the gas block, the gas tube is now touching the gas block. You want to make sure it comes all the way on. Oops. Got some movement up here now. A little bit of movement up top. We're almost there though. Let me set back up. We'll jump cut to the getting this done correctly. There we are. All right. Loosen everything up. Take our weird ass jig apart. And as you guys can see, our gas tube is now lined up perfectly with our gas block. Everything, we'll check it again before we drill it out. We'll check it for degrees, make sure it's on correctly, and then we will drill these two pins to 33 and pin it in. All right, we got this set up, ready to drill out our number 33 machine screws. I want to make sure this hasn't moved a little bit. It looks like it moved a tiny bit on me. There we go. And I have it braced with the pieces that I could find. Really what I need are some machinist jacks. Maybe eventually I'll make some of those. Broke the bit. Let's take a break. All right, we had a happy little accident. Not a big deal. We broke the old cheapy Chinese drill bit, so I found a better one. We're hopefully going to get this one to run through better this time without breaking it. This interrupted cut is actually really, really hard on these bits because it's 3/4 of a hole. 3/4 of the hole has material, the other quarter doesn't. So it's, if you're going to be making some AKs, get you some good bits. Don't do what I do and grab the cheap ones. The good ones are going to be worth it in the end. Like this. Went straight through, no problem. Just get you good bits. All right, we're going to move over and pin this in. All right, let's see what you press. It's always fun because it's really painful. Press the bottom and faster. There you go. We have to settle it. This is always like on the right edge. But then almost. Let's get back in first. There you go. Nice stuff is on this one. Which is great. Having a like special tool for this, or having one of the press pieces that has like the little hardened steel pin on it, makes this much easier. But like I said, I don't have those things, so we'll use what we got, and this works fine. All right, let's move on. All right, bringing some more light in. So last but not least, well no, I take that back, not last, but what we're going to do is get the front sight mounted, drilled and tapped, that doesn't make any sense, mounted, drilled and penned, and then we're going to come back and drill out the gas hole. I got to find the drill bit. I have the gas port drill bit somewhere around here. It's like the big long one. I just need to track it down. So we're going to make drilling out the gas port last stage. So we're going to take this and I'm going to level it as best I can, and typically I do this by eye as best as possible. Look down the gun, give that a twist, tap it on. Tap it like that so it's nice and sturdy. And then we'll probably end up pressing it on. And then if we need to, we can make some adjustments side to side. Like that. You want to be careful with these wings. These wings will break off if you hit them too hard. So be gentle with them. But you can do like that, tap it, and kind of line it up until you think you got it just about right. And then we'll get it pressed on. All right, so here's what we got set up. It's in the jig, or it's in the press being held through the trunnion. And I have my little jig thing that I made on top, spaced out so it's not going to hit the barrel. We're going to get this pressed in. We're going to bring it right back to the shoulder right here. This could be my stopping point. Like that. There we go. Your front sight's now pressed in. Whoop. We're going to check it for alignment, drill and pin it. All right, let's drill this out. Again, nice drill bits. Don't use the shit stuff like I did. As long as we're best you can. All right, both of those are drilled out. Let's move back over to the press, press these in, and call it done for this, and then we're gonna do another video of drilling out the gas port. All right, we got it set up in the press. Let's get these pins pressed in. We go. Now use the edge of the press. One. And two. All right, everything's pressed in. The only thing we got to do now, drill out our gas port and go test fire. So we'll probably do that in the next video though. Let's do an outro. Look at that. It's starting to look like an actual AK. Basically all we're missing, some fire controls, some furniture, top cover, the other, you know, the stuff that you don't really need. So in this, we got it all done. We got this pressed in. Next video, I know I'm teasing you guys here. Next video, we're going to drill the gas port. We're just going to use the bit, drill it out at a 45 like they do at the factory. We'll drill the gas port. We'll do some final fitting. There needs to be some more tweaking, just a little bit of tweaking done to the receiver because with all that pressing and stuff, it's kind of canted a little. So we're going to take it, put it in the press, in the vise, twist it, finally do some fine finishing on it. Put furniture, put fire controls, get everything ready, take it to the range and test fire and see if this thing will shoot. So that'll be the next one. Stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe. If you like this kind of content, hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. I know everybody asks you to do that, but it makes me feel good on the inside. I also, if you check down below, I have some t-shirts for sale now. I'll make a big announcement about that at some point, but if you're watching this, you'll get to know. Check the description. There's a Teespring link. I set the prices so that I thought they were pretty fair. I'm trying not to rip you guys off, so if you want a t-shirt, go check. They're there. Anyways, we'll catch you later. We're gonna move on to the next where we have to go find the drill bit and then drill this out. So I'll catch you guys later.